Okay, everybody, here we go. It's me, Gregory Mannarino, Monday, July 29th, 2024, post-market report. Let's cut right to it. Um, I want to show you guys and girls something. I want you to read this. Try to avoid my scribbling here if possible. I want you to read this headline. I want you to think for a moment what's missing from it because you have to understand how the propaganda ministry works. It's a psyop. The wording is very particular. And in this case, it couldn't, in my view, it could not be more in your face what's missing here. If you follow this blog, more than likely you're going to pick up on what's missing here real quick. So here's the headline. Why regional banks are now willing to take billions in losses. Think for a moment. What's missing here? Well, it should be pretty obvious. They're not talking about the larger banks at all, who are just, worse off than the regional institutions, which means you're worse off. What are we talking about here? So, people, I don't know why sometimes I break out into like this little, chuckle. These institutions, first of all, the entire system is bankrupt, beyond bankrupt. It is loaded up yet again with toxic assets. Does that sound familiar to you? Toxic assets or bad debt? All this stuff here is going to be hidden from you until it rears its ugly head. So, right off the bat, this is not just a regional bank issue, which you and I called again before anybody else. The issue of these institutions holding trillions, forget about billions, trillions in bad debt. And in my opinion here, the major institutions, the major Wall Street banks have a main line directly to the Federal Reserve. So that gives them maybe a little bit of a cushion here, but they are not going to be allowed to suffer losses. That should worry you. The smaller banks are in a different position here. Mitch, thank you. So we already understand the issues with, let's stick to the smaller and the regional institutions, is epic, the whole system, okay? They are loaded up with bad debt. I don't know another way to put this. Loaded up, replete, beyond belief. It's just off the Richter scale. And again, this is also an issue with the larger institution. But they want you to think. Again, this is a psyop. The big banks are okay. It's the smaller ones that are in trouble here. No, the smaller banks are being set up to fall. This is something that you and I have outlined for I don't know how freaking long now. This guy has sat right in front of all of you for I don't know how long, telling you to get your cash out of these smaller institutions. Put your cash in a credit union, and they're not safe again, okay? So people twist my words all the time. They are safer, way safer than a regional institution. We have a lot to talk with regard to this, talk about. Just stick with me for a moment here. So credit union, safer. If you don't like credit unions for whatever freaking reason, I don't know, you can choose to put your cash into one of the major institutions. Avoid Bank of America. We got Warren Buffett over here dumping shares of Bank of America like there's no tomorrow. There are big issues there. It's being set up as the fall guy in my view. Look at the performance of Bank of America versus their peers, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So this goes way beyond. What they're talking about here is these regional institutions as well as the large ones, all right? But we're just going to stick to this, are planning on dumping bad debt onto the market with regard to treasuries. Now, you and I, from a long time ago, many months ago, 8 months ago or so, I said specifically that we can expect a rally in the debt market. Now, when that happens, I want you to bear with me with this a little bit. It's a little bit complicated, all right? When bond yields drop, like we've been seeing this phenomenon lately, is a mystery buyer. Who's buying all the debt? Duh. Okay. When bond yields drop, it's called a rally. People are buying the debt. You understand? So what happens is, let's say someone is holding a bond that is yielding higher than the current yield on that specific bond. They're losing money. They're on the losing end of that trade. So what has happened is these regional institutions, and trust me on this one, it's the larger institutions as well. Again, their balance sheets are ballooning with bad debt that is now yielding more than what you can currently get. You understand? But again, because of the inverse relationship here, they're losing money by holding on to those bonds that are yielding more. It's weird the way it works here, but just that's the way it works. So these institutions, especially these guys, because that's what they're letting us know about, they're going to be dumping that debt. And what they're going to do here is buy debt that is yielding less. Now, here's the problem. Here's the problem here. We're going to see a massive rally in the debt. This is not going to make them whole. Let me just say that, okay? What these institutions, and they're talking about the regional ones here, are trying to do is cut losses. That may work to a certain degree. If these institutions were following this blog with all of you, they would not be in the hole they're in right now. There's just no doubt about it. But again, these men in their $1,000 suits and women as well, whatever they think they know it all. They know nothing. Nothing. You talk to a financial advisor, you go call one on the phone. If you follow this blog for 6 months, you could talk circles around these people. They wouldn't even know what you're even saying. They would believe you're from another planet. You understand? They're not taught this stuff in business school. You have no idea how many people write to me, Greg, I didn't learn this stuff in business school. You don't learn this stuff in business school. You learn it from being in the trenches, from making a heck of a lot of mistakes. It's the only way to really learn. We learn more from our failures than from our successes. Does that sound familiar to you? Okay, it should. So what we really should be asking, this is a multiple fold issue here. So if these institutions are planning on dumping all of this bad debt, who's buying it? Who's buying it? I'm going to give you one guess here. And it's pretty obvious. I'm not even going to say it. There's obviously an entity who wants to own it all, no matter what, even if they have to suffer losses, which they never will because they have a printing press. I laugh when I hear about the so-called losses that the Federal Reserve, people write to me all the time. Hey, Greg, V-Dog, thank you. Hey, Greg, did you see that the Federal Reserve is losing cash on XYZ? They're not losing anything. We're losing. And not only that, you have to understand that the Federal Reserve finances all kinds of things. We are not allowed to know. It's off balance sheet. What the Federal Reserve is financing terrorist organizations. You do know that's true, right? Wars, in any war, they can lend. The Fed can lend their product to any nation, any cause around the planet Earth. You understand? I hope you get this stuff here because people aren't allowed to know that. They think the Federal Reserve, they walk through those golden halls of the Fed wearing white robes because they're angelic. You know that. They have your best interest in mind. There's not a single organization on the planet that is a larger crime syndicate. They are a crime syndicate of the highest possible order and then some. But again, they have your best interest in mind. Oh, we have some more stuff to talk about. So anyway, look, this is going to happen. It's probably already been happening. But the real issue is, okay, these smaller institutions, they're going to be bought up. There's going to be a cascade of failures coming. It's being pushed off. It's being held back from any kind of coverage on the mainstream media outlets. You are not allowed to know the trouble. And it's so disgusting to me because the SEC knows who's in trouble here, but they won't let you know who's in trouble here. You understand? It's the most twisted setup in the history of the world. You keep your cash in these institutions, and whatever happens to them, that doesn't matter because you sign on that dotted line. How many of you, when you open an account at one of these institutions, actually read through the volumes of paper that they make you sign when you open an account? I bet zero. I don't think a single one of you reads it. Mitch, thank you. Because you're not supposed to. They know they do this on purpose. There's all this. First of all, you would need a magnifying glass or a microscope to read the fine print there, the pages and pages of it all, to get through it all. But we have to understand, when you put your cash that you think is yours, which is not yours at all, in one of these institutions, any of them, all right, even a credit union, all right, that cash, once it leaves your hands and goes into that institution, it's not yours anymore. They can do whatever they want with it. Although, like I said, credit unions don't take the risk of these institutions do. Obviously, they're holding all this bad debt here. They've all made massive investments in real estate. That's a bubble that we're going to be dealing with here, commercial real estate on an insane scale. But again, these smaller institutions are being primed to fall so that the larger institutions can buy them for pennies on the dollar. You see where this is going here? It's a consolidation of power, something that you and I have been talking about for a very, very, very long time. But again, the larger issue here is the bigger banks. The bigger banks are loaded up way more than these. The investment banks are so swelled up with bad debt right now. I'm going to give you one guess, just one. And if you don't get it right, I'm going to sack you, okay, right through the computer screen, okay? Who's going to be responsible? Do you believe, did we learn anything? Thank you. I really appreciate that, Salt. Did we learn anything from the last time we were forced by our loving, caring representatives to bail out the system? Did we learn anything then? Because I hope you learned your lesson then, because you're going to be forced to bail it out again. If you have any doubt, Trump isn't going to allow that to happen. How about, oh, sure he is, or Kaka Kamala, you're done. You see, they're dismantling the system. You all know that. It doesn't matter what figurehead they stick behind a Resolute desk. Don't matter at all. So the system is absolutely. That's another thing. Let me just bring this to your attention real quick. I ran a poll earlier, which I do want to talk about with regard to gold and silver, but I hear from some people who are extremely disconnected from reality. Greg, you don't understand. Trump is going to be put in power so he could manage the bankruptcy of the United States. In fact, he's going to go out of his way to make us even more bankrupt. We couldn't be more bankrupt. We could not be more bankrupt than we are. You want a little proof? Jeffrey, thank you. So this is the Treasury. The U.S. Treasury sharply cuts third quarter borrowing estimate. Wait a minute. You mean the Treasury has to borrow? Oh, yeah, they do. Listen to this. The Treasury Department said today, Monday, it expects to borrow. Are you ready for this number for the third quarter? $740 billion in the third quarter. Who's more than happy to lend? Oh, yes, it's the Federal Reserve. We could not possibly be more bankrupt than we are. But Trump is going to manage the bankruptcy is going to make us more bankrupt than we are now, which is impossible to do, but we're going to be, of course. And he's going to imagine it. He's going to manage that, and then we're all going to be able to come out of this smelling like roses because he's the king of kings. You can't make this stuff up. I have people who write to me every day that honestly believe that Christ is this is the second coming here, or maybe the third, depending on who you want to pick in history. I lied to you not, but that's the fact. Anyway, look, with regard to this whole thing, this should not surprise you. With this bad debt being dumped, someone's got to buy it. We know who's going to buy it. The big banks are in the same situation here, but you're going to bear that one. You're going to bear the brunt of it all because they can't be allowed to lose. But of course, as the system comes apart, they're going to have a scapegoat, as they always do. And I believe, from all that I know and study, that it's going to be Bank of America. It's a symbol, too. The failure of that institution. I really believe that's going to happen here. You have to understand something else with regard to these smaller institutions and the big banks. When I say to you all here that it's a black hole buried in a black hole, buried in another black hole and another black hole, it's bottomless. We have no idea, nor are we allowed to know. We're not privy to this information. What these institutions are holding on their balance sheets, and it's an insane asylum. Glenn, thank you. You're buying all the debt. Good for you, buddy. Anyway, so again, more stuff I want to talk to you about moving forward. Before we go over there, well, first of all, what do you think of this? The Treasury borrowing $740 billion, 3/4 of a trillion for the third quarter, because we're broke, we're bankrupt, we are absolutely done here. This is not the United States anymore. This is a slave nation, a slave world. Just get used to it. Just get used to it. And prepare for it. Now, speaking about that, getting ready for the eventual meltdown, and meltdown isn't even come close here. So let me read this to you just real quick. So I posted this, Alliance. It's just astonishing to me how many people write to me every day and tell me flat out how much they hate gold and silver. Now, with that, here's my question to you. Do you believe that gold, and especially silver, should be a part of your investment portfolio? 6% of you said no. Gold and silver are ancient relics, nothing more, and they should not be in your portfolio. 94% of you said yes. Gold and silver absolutely must be a part of your portfolio. You have to understand what we do. Look, did you see what happened today? We got a little pressure here. We're seeing pressure on commodities here, including crude oil. Does this sound familiar to you? Because it should. I've explained how this works. When you have a mechanism where the Fed is buying all the debt, 10-year yield down, lower, 4.17 at the market close. You understand? Okay, Fed's buying it all. When you have that mechanism where the Fed is desperate right now to maintain the illusion of the market, keeping that doorway open for cash to make its way into the market, the cash must come from other places. So that's why we're seeing what we are seeing now. With regard to the rise in cryptocurrency, that's the Trump effect on Bitcoin, you understand, and cryptocurrencies here. So again, I'm not, you guys and girls do what you want with this stuff. I hear from you every day. Those of you who don't like this, if you hate it, good. Hate it all you want. All right, you're gonna wish you bought some. Mitch, thank you, buddy. I really exactly. So why we, you and me, look. Let me just get situated for a second. We understand, you and me. Another 740 billion. Being pulled into existence out of nothing because we're broke. Debts and deficits are going to hyper balloon beyond your wildest dreams and even mine. No one thought we would be here right now, but we haven't seen anything. Currency devaluation, that's coming in waves. Asset purchases by the Federal Reserve, buying more debt. Issuing debt through one door, buying it back through another. That mechanism, massively inflationary. We haven't seen anything yet, but we're going to hear more lies and tall tales about how inflation is tame and it's cooling. All the words. Again, you have to be very careful when you read a headline like that or how they word it. They're being told what to say and how to write it. You understand? They can't. Imagine they said the major banks are as well. They can't do that. When I saw this, my eyeballs, I started laughing. I mean, it was obvious to me from the get-go what was missing here. So I always say, raise your awareness, raise your awareness. So gold, silver, and commodities are hedges for the most part. Okay, we understand eventually where this is going to go. This hyper debt situation is going to end. I'm laughing here. It's going to end in a nightmare. In a nightmare, mostly some of our own creation, because other than you and me, who are at least trying to get the word out and do something about it, people have no idea. Okay, they want to see their investments make money. They want to swipe their way into obscurity as the central banks gear up for their central bank issued digital currency that it's coming. People, for those of you that don't understand the setup here, Cole understands. Thank you. It's opportunities everywhere. You see, this here. This is a lion, like every single one of you. This is the richest environment for opportunity on the face of the earth. It's really the truth. Anyway, so gold, silver, commodities, and cryptos are hedges. One day, and other things too. Like I always tell you, musical instruments, artwork, that's the USS Constitution for anyone that's interested. I got these kind of pictures. These are all originals, by the way. These aren't copies. These were painted by the actual artist. And I have these things all over the place. You could probably see some in the background. I like to have artwork where I know the artist's hand actually touched it. These aren't from anybody famous or anything like that. I have a beautiful other over here of a sailing ship. This is about 100 years old. But these were painted by an artist who actually did it. It wasn't printed over with the machine. And I don't know. I love that. I think these are investments. I really do. I think musical instruments are investments. These are tangible things. Yeah, like I always tell you, Greg Mannarino is very, very diversified. Now, let us move forward here. I want to talk more about the current situation. Now, this is Market Watch from today. Again, read this. Main engine of U.S. economy, consumers are showing no signs of sputtering. Now, in the fine print here, household spending defies talk of big slowdown. You and I know what this actually is. Inflation continues to rise. You, me, and everybody else are forced to spend more. Again, you don't take my word for anything. Household debt, personal debt, consumer debt, credit card debt, record high, record high, record high, record high. People can't survive here anymore. But they want you. This is propaganda. This is what they're being told to say. Consumers are spending. They're spending, so they must be strong. They're spending. You and me are spending because we have no choice. And if you think that this is going to end because of whatever figurehead they stick behind the Resolute desk, you have another thing coming. We already got Trump, who I believe the market's telling me every day that I look at it. It's going to be Trump. Not because, like I said, not because I'm a huge Trump supporter and I think he walks on water or something. I'm telling you what the market's telling me. Completely objective. He's already telling us where he wants the currency. He's already telling us what he wants the Fed to do. Do you need to see what he did last time again because you have a short-term memory, the memory of a goldfish? That's all he wanted. He was calling for negative rates. He wanted a weaker dollar then. We're going to get it now. And all that does is make the Fed stronger. Whether Kaka Kamala gets behind the Resolute desk, which I don't think so, or Trump's going to be the same thing. Currency devaluation, duh. Freaking asset purchase by the Fed, duh. And we could go on and on. Let's move forward here. So again, propaganda. Let us have a little more fun here. Oh, this is beautiful here. You want to really have a laugh before we move on to the last thing I want to talk to you about? I don't think many of you out here are big fans of Jim Cramer. This is a statement that Jim Cramer made. Jim Cramer calls the bottom on CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike, the one entity that's in control basically now. Like, here's the situation with CrowdStrike. How is it that this one corporation has the power basically to shut down the entire internet? I'm going to leave that up to you. You tell Greg Mannarino why. It's a consolidation of power. Where are loving, caring representatives? Are they speaking out? You see, when we realized, you and me, because you see, we're way smarter than they are, that one corporation here is in control of this entire thing and they just shut it off with flipping of a switch, okay? I said in my head, well, where's our caring representatives? They really want power concentrated like that? What they were going to do, I don't even know if they did it yet, our loving, caring representatives, was call the CEO of this corporation to find out why it happened. Not why is power concentrated in one place here. But that's a whole other story. So let me tell you something here. When any person, in this case, we're talking about Cramer. Cramer, are you listening, dude? You know, buddy, as well as I do, not any more than I do, but as well as I do, that anybody that is trying to call a top or a bottom in any asset, in any particular company, in the market, is an imbecile of the highest possible order, Jim. That makes you the imbecile of the highest possible order. Maybe we should all call into Mad Money and say, Jim, you're an idiot. If he proves to be correct and this is the absolute bottom, he's going to look like freaking genius, ain't he? It doesn't matter. 90% or better of the time, when you have some freak out here who thinks he's smarter than anybody else calling a top or a bottom, you're listening to an idiot. Sorry, buddy. That's a fact. Now let us move on here to our last little tidbit of information here. So this week, we are going to hear from World Control. World control being the Federal Reserve, and poised for a rate cut. What did I write here? Oh, interesting. I want to read this to you. So the Fed, first of all, I do not believe the Fed's already cutting rates. They're already buying all the debt. Duh. What's missing from this headline? Who's buying all the debt? Why are rates dropping? Why are bond yields dropping like a rock? Okay, because let's see. I wonder why. We know what's going on here. All of us here who follow this blog know what's happening. But what the Fed is going to do, and it is not going to be, look, it could be, but I doubt it. I think there's about a 30% chance at best that we're going to see the Fed announce. Keep the word announced right at the front of your head here. This frontal lobe, keep it at the frontal lobe for a moment here, just behind the forehead. 30% maybe. This week, I don't think so. Next month, I think the odds go up to about 50-50. And then it goes to about 75 in September. Then I think we're going to get another one. September, probably October, November, maybe another in December. But I want you to think about what this means. I know all of you are smart. That's a fact, or you wouldn't even be here. Okay. I want to thank all of you for those thumbs up. We're killing it today. We got 1,548 people at the moment I'm saying this, and we got 601 thumbs up. Thank all of you for that, really. So what does this mean? We already understand the Fed's buying it all. They want to buy it all. They need an ally in the White House, which they're going to get to help them buy it all. Now, when the Fed actually makes the announcement, okay, everyone, we're going to start cutting rates. What they're doing, I want you to think about this. It should make you want to vomit. It makes me want to vomit just thinking about this. This is how powerful this organization is, the Federal Reserve here. When the Fed says, hey, everyone, we're going to start cutting rates, they're giving themselves permission to add as many digits to a screen as they want. Whatever they deem is the right amount, add it to a digital screen, and then get into the debt market and buy it. Just keep rates suppressed. This is why you have this. Look, it just should all add up to you now. Why are these institutions thinking about dumping their bad debt now? Because we're going to see a rally here in the debt market. The Fed's buying all the debt. Yields are going to drop. That means bonds are rallying. Easy? That's why, and again, the big banks are in the same boat. The Fed's going to be buying all that bad debt for the most part, but you're going to get stuck with the bill. As always, it's not going to change. If you think it is, anyway, does that bother you at all? Does it bother you that the Fed has the power to give itself permission to buy more? And all this is going to do, what is this going to do? You're all smarter than me, but I'll outline it in case you don't know. What this is going to do, by the Fed getting into the market and buying more debt again, creating cash out of nothing, buying the debt with it. First of all, it's massively inflationary. It's a revolving door. They issue debt through one door, buy it back through the other. This cycle it's a whirlwind of inflation, and you and I are paying for that. We're already paying for it. Where's the outcry? Where's our loving, caring representatives? Where's Trump or Kaka Kamala? Why is neither one of them pointing their fingers at the Federal Reserve? Why? Because they work for the Fed. They don't work for you. They can't allow you to know who their real boss is or is going to be when they get their seat behind the Resolute desk. They don't work for you. You think they do. This has been a buildup. Oh, yeah, it's these people's fault. It's those people's fault. It's whatever's fault. Certainly can't be the Federal Reserve, who controls the economy, who controls the monetary system, who controls the financial markets. No, it can't be them. It's Biden's fault, or it's this person's fault. No. Never a finger point. At every opportunity that Trump has had, even during the freak show debate, he pointed at Biden. He didn't say it was the Fed's fault. Kaka Kamala, what do you think she's going to do? I'm going to give you one guess. Not going to point their fingers at the Federal Reserve. And they're going to give themselves permission to buy it all, because that's what they want. Here's my finger for the Fed. What do you think? Can you read between the lines? I hope you can. I really do. Anyway, people, look, we're in a very very bad bad spot. And if we don't take action, if we don't hedge ourselves, again, gold, silver, platinum, palladium, commodities, again, going back to my poll that I took before, those people who hate gold and silver, hate it all you want. Because when this thing flips to from where it is now, which is risk on with the Fed buying all the debt, into risk off, you're going to wish you had some gold and silver in your portfolio, some exposure to commodities here. And for those of you that hate cryptocurrency, you're going to wish you had some of your portfolio as well. With that said, look, you can lead a horse to water, you can't make him drink, but I'm doing my best out here, and I think I'm doing a pretty good job. I'll be honest with you. Sea Wife, thank you. This is our thing, okay? And we are making a positive difference in the world. And I think we're getting through to some people, because I heard from a lot of people, even just today, hey, Greg, I never owned a piece of gold or silver physical until they joined our team. We need more people to join this team of this pride of lions here. You're all lions. In one way or the other, you're all lions. They used to say lions and friends, but you're all lions because you understand what's happening. And that, in my view, gives you power. Power, the symbol of the lion. You understand? Anyway, yes, positive is the key, man. You got it. We have to make a positive difference in this world, and I really believe that we're doing that. We need more people to wake up, Lava. You're a part of it. You are a key part of it. All of you are key. Oh, you know what I wish, honestly? Barbara, thank you. Thank you very much. That more people would start a blog. You have my permission to use everything that I'm talking about here. The more of us that get out here, either do a blog or join a chat room or something and start to talk about this stuff, the better chance we're all going to have to get through this. What's coming here? What's coming is going to be biblical. I don't know another way to put it. With that said, people, we're going to get going here. I really, it is a butterfly effect. What we do or don't do, I want you to think about that comment. All right, butterfly effect. What we do every day or don't do every day has an effect on every other moment that may proceed down the line. You understand? Through life, okay, look, maybe I'll get a little philosophical here. You're gonna walk down many roads, and some of these aren't going to be so fun, and sometimes you're going to get confused and you're going to get caught up in things that at the time seem like a pretty good idea. Okay. But when you get to my age, okay, I'm 59. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life. You learn, and sometimes you repeat those same mistakes 10 times before you get smacked across the face enough to finally wake up. But the beauty of it is, let's say, for example, you adopt something into your life and you realize, hey, you know what? This really isn't working. You can change it. That's the beauty of these kinds of things, because, every moment that comes toward you is another opportunity to turn things around. You understand? I want you to think about these kinds of concepts, all right? Because I think they make a lot of sense to me. Not a lion, but a tiger. Well, if you're a tiger, you're going to be a lion, tiger, same kind of thing. People, yes, look, we're all pretty stubborn, man. Dogs too, people. We just do the things, and sometimes, look. When you talk to people, even if what they're saying to you seems so freaking abstract, listen for a moment, because you might pick up something that you can use. You understand? We go through this life once, essentially, okay? And that, well, we could go on about that too, and maybe we will at another time, okay? But let's just put out a hypothetical. In your current body and everything, you're going through life this one time, and we have opportunity here to do good or do bad, and to take things in and adopt that into our own lives to benefit everybody else too. Because look, I said this before, and you've heard this, how many times have you heard oracles say, what you do for yourself dies with you. What you do for other people, that goes on. And I really believe that. Anyway, so that's kind of it, people. Good vibes, positive vibration, right? All right, people, we're going to get out of here. We covered a lot today. Honestly, this is a very long video. You I'm gonna give you guys like a quick opportunity to no, you're not coming back as yellow stained. Oh, don't even say that. Do you guys and girls want to talk about anything else, or did we covered a lot here, as I said? Um, kiss the who? Who am I kissing? Camel. I don't even know who the camel? Camela? No, thank you. I ain't kissing that thing. Uh, drag racing. Did you see the video I posted? I smoked that guy, didn't I? I was late off the light. I beat him off the light, but my light was awful. I got to work on that. I got distracted when I staged the car. I heard him rev. He's a turbo car next to me. I'm supercharged, but those turbo cars, they got to wind up. And when I heard his engine wind up, I hit my two-step rev limiter too early. Anyway, people, we are going to get going here. Effect on the Eurozone. What do you think? Dude, do you think this is going to change what we're witnessing here? This is a great question here, okay? It's not just the dollar or the euro, but I think, I don't know who else has said this. I'm sure there are other people, but I've been telling people for 10 years that central banks are on a deliberate mission to destroy their currency. What we're going to see is much more currency purchasing power destruction. John, thank you. You know, people, we are so far from being done with what is coming here. What they have in store for us, people, look what they did. They locked us up in our houses, forced us to wear a face diaper, told us to stay 6 feet away from each other. Obviously, there's a reason for that too. And 90 something percent of the people comply to it like the sheep that they are. It's freaking believable. And do you think that was it? That was the end there? Warp speed vaccines, death vaxes, bioweapons. You think this is end? It's just not coming back again? I think that's a big fear moving forward here because look, let's just save this for another day because we could go on and on with all this stuff. People, that's exactly what it is. Pavlovian obedience training. Shannon, that is one of the most brilliant freaking comments that I've heard in a while. I'm gonna use that. This is what I'm talking about. Why you got to listen to people because you learn things. We all have something to learn. I don't care how smart you may think you are. I always said this. The person that believes they're the smartest guy or girl in the room, they're generally the stupidest person in the room. It's really the truth. All right, look, guys and girls, this is kind of long. We are going to get going. Thank you. Wow. We almost are at 1,000 thumbs up. I can't remember a time that we have hit 1,000 during the live stream. People, can we hit 1,000? Let's see if we can do this. We're at 923. If we hit this is a record breaker. Lava, check this out. Where's Magic Mika? Scott, check this out. This is epic. John Doe, all my friends are here. I think we might actually hit it. Yeah, there are some people that don't like this stuff. I don't know why they're here. I have to say, we just broke 1,000. People come here to the live stream, and of course they hit those thumbs down. I don't know why. I don't understand why people feel compelled to do it. Why are they here? And if I'm saying something that doesn't connect, that's okay. This morning I went a little off the deep end. Sometimes I do that because look, let me explain this to you again. This stuff gets under my skin, and it makes me absolutely crazy from time to time. Because to me, when I look at all these headlines and I see what's going on and I listen to the propaganda ministry and creatures like Kramer and how people are spending so they're good and people who hate gold and silver and cryptos and they hate the market too, whatever it might be. It's, I look at this stuff and I say, here's opportunity. I wish back in the day when I started this whole thing, when I started dabbling into this whole financial business, I was a kid. Okay. I was in my 20s. I made every mistake in the book and I lost a lot. I lost more cash than I even care to talk about. But that's okay. But I wish I had somebody. I found a few people in my life who are actually willing to teach. And that's another thing. If you'll find someone who's willing to share what they know through life experience or whatever it might be, just sit there and listen. I love elderly people. Let me tell you something about respecting your elders. And here in the United States, we don't do that. We tend to look down on them as if they're worthless. And that is a crime in my view. As most of you know here, my best friend on this planet Earth passed away at the age of 99, Edward Hall, Pearl Harbor survivor, one of the greatest guys I've ever known. I used to love sitting there and listening to him talk about things that happened and his life experiences. It used to blow me away. I learned so much from that guy. So if you have the opportunity to sit and listen to someone who maybe has a few more years than you under their belt and maybe has something to say that you should listen to, please take it. Take that opportunity. Or you yourself, if you have the opportunity to teach somebody something, that's making a positive difference to the world. And let me tell you something. And look, I believe what I'm about to say with every fiber of my being, of my soul and my spirit and everything else. The good that you do, if you do this much good for someone else, it'll come back to you this much. I believe that I am living proof of that. I honestly believe this with all I have. And I want us all to adopt that. If you're part of Greg Mannarino's team, I want you to start doing what I said from a long time ago. Once a month, even if that's even once a week, you should do something like for your neighbor or something. Go out and make friends or something. But let's say, for example, I'm going to give you an example of something I tend to do once in a while. Like if I look over at my neighbor's property and I see garbage over there, I'll go pick it up without even asking. If I see their bushes need to be trimmed, I'll go over there and do it. I'll just do it. Especially if they're older. Okay, if you have like people in your neighborhood that are elderly or can't perform like you can, what's wrong with maybe going over there and helping clean up the yard or something? Are you above that? Is that too big for you? Too much for you? I hope not. All right, look, I am so out of here. Exactly, pay it forward. People, I have gone on and on with this. We broke 1,100 thumbs up during this live stream. I've never seen this before. This is epic. What does that tell us all? That we are a pride of Lions that is making a positive difference. And I love every single one of you with all I got in my heart. All right, I'll see you in the morning. All right, until we meet again, please take care of yourselves and each other.